The big leagues have produced some big players. Walter Johnson was the big train. Paul Wainer was big poison. Lance Parrish was the big wheel. Adam Dunn, the big donkey. Lance Berkman, big puma. Cecil Fielder, big daddy. And of course, Frank Thomas, the big hurt. But maybe the best big nickname of them all was the one bestowed upon Randy Johnson, the big unit, who came of age in the early 1990s to be the mulleted maestro of the Seattle Mariners. It's appropriate then that the Mariners have something big going on again. In franchise lore, the big unit was worthy of a big battery mate, and now he has one in none other than the big dumper, Cal Raleigh.
Gone! Legend, Cal Raleigh!
Let's be clear, Raleigh could have had an undistinguished catching career, could have been a bust or a backup or a bench warmer, and we would still be of the opinion that he has one of the greatest nicknames in baseball today. In a genre that has gravitated too much toward uncreative hyphenations akin to the one bestowed upon another former Mariner in A-Rod, the big dumper name stands out even more than the broad backside that inspired it. It was former Mariners outfielder Jared Kelenic who first started calling Cal Raleigh the big dumper. And though Raleigh was initially cool to the reference to his derriere, not wanting to be the butt of any jokes, he's come around to it, and we're glad he did. Because as this slugging, squatting, switch-hitting superstar shines for the M's both at and behind the dish, the big dumper denomination is getting the big attention it deserves.
Is your nickname Big Dumper?
Yes.
Do you think Big Dumper is the best nickname in baseball?
Yes.
More than 2 months into this 2025 season, Raleigh was on pace for a 60-homer season as a catcher. As you probably know, that's never happened before. A catcher has never even hit 50 home runs, and there have only been 8 40-homer seasons by catchers. Add in Raleigh's terrific performance behind the plate, and he's simply been one of the most valuable players in baseball this season. We're here to tell you, though, that there's so much more to Raleigh's story than just a great nickname and great 2025 stats. He's been building toward this MVP caliber breakout by making the most of his baseball bloodlines, earning respect in his clubhouse for his leadership, and long putting up numbers that are crazy for a catcher. So let's get to the bottom of the Big Dumper's story, the tale of the man behind the tail. Cal Raleigh's baseball roots can be traced to a small school in a small town in northern Vermont, just about 18 miles from the Canadian border. In Swanton, Vermont, a town with a population of less than 7,000 people, 3 brothers put Missisquoi Valley Union High School on the sports map. John Raleigh III helped the Thunderbirds to 2 state baseball titles in the late 1970s and early 1980s, and his younger brothers, Matthew and Todd, both played for Missisquoi Valley in the midst of a baseball state title three-peat from 1986 through 1988. Sadly, John Raleigh passed away in 1983 at the age of 19 after a brave fight with lymphoma. The town's recreational field was named in his honor in 2000, and his younger brothers carried on his athletic legacy, as did a nephew he never met. Todd Raleigh's baseball path was one he hitchhiked. He actually thumbed his way from Swanton to Cullowhee, North Carolina, where he walked on, sight unseen, to play for an up-and-coming baseball program at Western Carolina University. Todd wound up starting behind the plate at WCU from 1988 to 1991. And though he signed a professional contract with the Red Sox, he was quickly drawn to coaching, spending 2 seasons as an assistant at his alma mater. From there, he served on the staffs at James Madison and East Carolina before he got his first head coaching opportunity back where he started at Western Carolina in 2000. When Todd took that job, he had a 3-year-old son named Caleb John Raleigh. And for 8 seasons at WCU, as the boy known as Cal grew, he would often be right by his dad's side, serving as a bat boy for the Catamounts and regularly weighing in on lineup decisions. Baseball was in young Cal Raleigh's blood, but it wasn't forced upon him. He told MLB.com, quote, "I grew up and it was, if you're going to do something, you're going to do it the right way. Whether it was grade school, baseball, basketball, riding a bike, whatever it is." Cal was actually one of the best prep basketball players in the state of North Carolina, but of course where he really shined was on the baseball field. The catcher hit .459 with 10 homers and 20 steals his senior season, earning him selection as a Louisville Slugger first-team All-American, among other honors. Raleigh then went on to an even more accomplished college career at Florida State. He was a freshman All-American in 2016 And in his sophomore season in 2017, by the time he hit .326 with 13 homers his junior season, Raleigh had moved up draft boards to become one of the more highly touted catchers in the country. The Mariners nabbed him in the 3rd round at number 90 overall.
The Mariners select draft ID 9676, last name Raleigh, first name Cal, a catcher from Florida State University, Tallahassee, Florida.
Raleigh hemmed and hawed, deciding whether to sign with Seattle, but his dad and uncle ultimately convinced him to go pro just minutes before the deadline. And so began the Mariners' career of a player who'd become one of the faces of the franchise. Though his minor league career was interrupted by the pandemic, Raleigh had shown enough to the M's to get the call to the big leagues midway through the 2021 season. But he struggled at the plate while serving as Tom Murphy's backup, and again after making the major league club out of spring training in 2022. It wasn't until Murphy suffered a dislocated shoulder in early May of 2022 that Raleigh returned for good. His bat began to blossom right in front of our eyes in a game against the Mets at Citi Field, where he launched a mammoth 2-run home run.
Cal gets into this, baby. Ride, Captain, ride! Yes, sir! Cal Raleigh with a launch of a 2-run shot.
That was Cal's coming out party. By season's end, he had gone deep 27 times, not only leading all catchers in MLB that season, but setting a new franchise record for a catcher. None of those 27 blasts was bigger than the one Raleigh hit on September 30th, 2022. With 7 games left in the season, the Mariners needed just one win to end a 21-year playoff drought that at the time was the longest for any team in North American professional sport. The game was tied at 1 apiece in the 9th, and right-handed A's reliever Domingo Acevedo was on the mound. With 2 outs, the Mariners sent Raleigh up to bat to pinch hit as a lefty. He worked the count full, and then...
A drive deep to right field, down the line. The Mariners win this game 2-1. The dream lives. They're going to the playoffs. The drought is over. Cal Raleigh. Wow. Hey now. Hey now. Hey now.
Are you kidding me, Cal Raleigh?
Only 155 days after being demoted to the minors, Raleigh hit one of the biggest home runs in Seattle franchise history. And since then, he's just kept mashing, breaking his own franchise catcher record with 30 homers in 2023, including 2 in Boston on May 15th, when he became the first catcher in history to go deep from both sides of the plate in a game in the long history of Fenway Park.
And the Cal Raleigh show continues in Boston tonight.
In 2024, Raleigh broke his own Mariners catcher record again with 34, including a walk-off grand slam against the White Sox and 2 multi-homer games in a 3-game span against the Padres and Angels. Raleigh became just the 12th catcher in MLB history with multiple 30-homer seasons. All told, his 93 homers from 2021 through 2024 were the most ever for a primary catcher in his first 4 seasons, one more than Hall of Famer Mike Piazza had from 1992 to 1995. And remember, Raleigh was doing this with his home games at T-Mobile Park, which routinely rates as the most pitcher-friendly ballpark in the big leagues, a difficult place for the long ball. But while Raleigh distinguished himself with his power production, the big dumper proved to be more than just a big bat. He also had a big arm, leading the league in defensive caught stealings in 2023 and 2024. His framing also improved, from ranking 8th in MLB with 6 framing runs in 2023 to ranking 2nd with 13 in 2024. Not only did he take home his first Gold Glove last fall, but he was also voted the Platinum Glove winner as the best overall defender in the American League. The Mariners had by far the lowest starting staff ERA in MLB last season, and Raleigh and his game calling were credited as a big reason why. He posted up for a league-leading 1,122 innings behind the plate. In fact, posting up has long been Raleigh's calling card. He's played through a broken thumb, a torn ligament in his hand, and even a broken tooth. Nothing can bump the dumper. So by the start of 2025, Raleigh had earned big respect in baseball, as well as a 6-year extension by the Mariners. But this year, he's on pace for one of the greatest seasons by any catcher in history. Raleigh was already at 23 through his first 59 games this season. That had him just 17 homers shy of the 9th 40-homer season by a catcher in MLB history. The only catchers to do it this century were Javi Lopez in 2003 and Salvador Perez in 2021. So Raleigh stands a very good chance at joining that short list and perhaps becoming the first catcher ever with 50. And with 4 go-ahead homers in the 7th inning or later so far, he's been as clutch as ever. But Raleigh's season is not all about the long ball. He's also drawing walks and limiting strikeouts at career best rates. His on-base percentage is one of the top 25 in the sport, and his 187 weighted runs created plus means his offensive performance has been 87% better than league average. If he were to maintain that mark, it would be the greatest ever for a catcher, besting the 183 mark posted by Piazza with the 1997 Dodgers. And once again, Raleigh keeps posting, getting the start at DH on those rare days when he's not squatting behind the plate. Raleigh's contributions on both sides of the ball make him one of the most valuable players in the game, especially on a Mariners team that entered the year with major question marks in the lineup. The big dumper trails only Aaron Judge in wins above replacement, and he could become just the 9th catcher in history to produce at least 8 WAR in a season. So Cal Raleigh has a great nickname, yes, but more importantly, he's a great player. He squats, he swats, and he trots. And as the dumper delivers, once again there's something big happening in Seattle.